This is a second generation Audi TTRS from 2012.
Normally when you see a car this flooded with this much damage, you think it's not going to be worth fixing.
But this car belonged to somebody special, Grant, who was one of the original founders of Wookiees in the Woods.
Now, unfortunately, our buddy Grant lost his battle with cancer a couple of years ago. And even though this isn't an R32, it was Grant's dream car.
Now, you've likely seen the devastation that happened in Western North Carolina. Well, unfortunately, Grant and his family had this car there in a garage, and while well taken care of, obviously still was heavily affected. Their house had severe damage, and this car was up to about 2 feet of water.
So, for the sake of the community and for Grant's family, I brought this car back to the shop, and Paul and I are going to do everything we can to try and save it.
We have a ton of work to do on this vehicle. First thing we need to do is get into the trunk of the vehicle. The next thing we need to do is gain access to the battery to see if it's submerged underwater. Then we can try to power it, assuming everything's okay, and see what works.
I don't want to complain about it, but this is not my first time suiting up for a moldy car this year.
This is going to be the Charles install option. Your car is moldy and you have a water leak. Call Charles. He'll come to your house, suit up, and fix your leak. Is it open yet? Is it open yet? So there should be an emergency release inside the trunk of the vehicle, but older cars didn't have it as a requirement, so it's less easy to gain access to.
This is not happy. So I gotta get the big boy battery.
We're gonna go on the big boy side. This is a plug right here, right?
It's not completely submerged.
There is water down there, but not too much.
Maybe we should just take all this stuff out of here.
Yeah, clean it all out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's gross.
So much mud.
The connector's unplugged, that's strange.
There's a little bit of corrosion. It might be too dead to even charge, but you can see all this mud water, which means there was at least water was to here.
Not too much standing water here, which is kind of a good sign. One thing we did see when Charles unplugged the one module is there's already corrosion on the back of this connector here. That doesn't really bode well for us going forward, which means probably most electrical connections that are submerged in water will likely have corrosion like that, which is something we'll have to contend with. Hey Charles, you have tools for me to get the seats out?
Yeah, here you go. Everything you need.
Okay, they're empty.
When you're a master mechanic with a heart of gold, you don't need tools in a toolbox. Your heart is the only tool that you need.
Well, I need more than my heart to take the seats out.
This is the cover for the electrical connectors for the seats. Nice.
Our seat motors are likely seized. I tried to power it with a power probe, it just pops the circuit breaker on the power probe. Paul's gonna work on the driver's seat, see if we can get access to the motors to take them off, to wind the seat forward or backward to access the bolts that hold the seat to the floor. While he's doing that, I'm gonna pivot and work on getting the back seats out, because we gotta get those out anyway. And once Paul finds like a method to get the seat moved, I'll jump in on the passenger seat and we'll just keep going from there.
Both of these latches to fold the seats forward are broken, so we have to take some measures that I don't want. I will say, this car is far less disgusting than the Fahrenheit was, but we don't have our detail wizard extraordinaire, Larry, to do the dirty work, so we leave that to Paulie D.
If he pokes me, I'm poking him back, 100%. I'm gonna get a trim panel, I'm gonna stab him right in the head with it. You want an extension?
No, because I can't fit it with the subwoofer in here.
If you look right here, these pins, they look pretty bad. Yeah, that's what happens when you get mud inside of stuff. So I'm gonna try to jump this one and see if we can get this motor to jump. Nope.
I did it. I did it. How do I get this out of here?
Oh, it's gross. That sucked. But seats out, I think Paul's got a game plan for his. Then we can get the carpet out. I'm trying to stay organized by putting everything in bags. Also, important to note that before we even started, for like 3 days, I ran an ozone machine in here, which should kill everything. We're still masked up because it stinks. This probably means it didn't kill everything. But oh look, watch. Do you want some help? Hold on, can I move this steering wheel in?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Look at all the tools he has down there too. It's like 3/4 of my roll cart is down on the driver's floorboard. That sucked, dude.
It sure did.
Okay, so now that we got our driver's seat out, look at all this. This is all mold. Not only that, like, it's hard as a rock. Our motors are bad. I don't think there's anything to do but to get new seats. Let's take the pressure washer and blow that off and see what it looks like. No shot. Even if you get the surface level mold
It's gonna be
off,
in the seat. It's in the seat padding.
it's in the cushion, it's underneath. Okay, so the interior part was quite a bit more struggle than we had planned for and took way longer than we really budgeted our time. As you can see, it's starting to get dark. So we're gonna end today on a high note by cleaning the outside of the car. I'm gonna clean these mats, which are not supposed to be brown. And we'll wash some of the stuff that's real easy. I also have a mold bomb that we're gonna put in the car, let it sit overnight, re-kill maybe anything left, and then hit it hard tomorrow and evaluate Powertrain and stuff like that. But right now you get to, I thought Paul was like twerking back there. He can't twerk because he ain't got no blood. Anyway, let's clean this stuff before I'm more distracted. Last night we ran out of daylight pulling our interior. So this morning our main focus is gonna be center console out, carpet out, and then we need to get it in the shop because we haven't even touched on potential powertrain issues yet.
This is how I like to start every morning, is a respirator and a suit on inside of a moldy car. Right now I'm pulling apart all the pedals and stuff so that we can pull this carpet out. Yeah. Look at, there's mold under the shift boot. That's not good. You know anybody that sells shift knobs? Maybe we could put a cool shift knob on it. Yeah, we could put a shift knob on it. Hey, how about that? ShopDAP.com. And to be honest with you, this is probably the best case scenario flood car because the water only got high enough to reach the lower part of electrical stuff and not the under the dash, which would be a real decimation. The seatbelt retractor is high enough up, it seems like it didn't get hit by the flood, because if that was the case, you'd be paying probably $400 per seatbelt for new ones.
This is, by the way, once we get this console out, where this carpet's about to come out of this mother father. If that's gonna be the real money shot, probably a lot of silt, I would imagine, and maybe mold. Oh, ABS model's right there?
Airbag module, I mean.
All right.
I think it'll be okay.
It's just the connector.
I hope.
Once you get above the like pedal area, that's the type of stuff that if that stuff gets mud and corrosion there, that's where you get a car that's toast. If you get into the actual dash itself, that's when the cost starts to just mount in a way that if we were trying to save this car, for example, you would almost need a donor car to swap everything over from. But luckily, this car kind of is best case scenario because it didn't get that high. We're gonna put that airbag module in rice, and I'm gonna put Charles in rice after we're done making this video because he's gonna be soaking wet, that's why. This is one of the modules that Charles pulled out of the boxes in the floor, and you can see it's covered in mud and silt, and this is for mag ride. So if water encroached on this in any way, then you're almost for sure gonna have like suspension faults, all kinds of other stuff. And this is the biggest concern with cars like this, is not just the wiring, which obviously is gonna be a problem, but if the water got into these modules, every one of these modules is gonna need to be replaced, and I can guarantee you that this module is expensive. You can get $700 to death on a car like this.
Who washed this? Come on, Paul. Let's be a little fair to Paul. This thing was super dirty, and you know, I'm not Larry. I don't have the fleet of ammo cleaning products, so he did the best job he could.
He just likes like getting the oddly satisfying stuff, so he gets distracted while we're working with just cleaning off small amounts of dirt in random places. just trying to get water off of everything that we've put it onto that shouldn't have water on it before it like becomes a problem. There you go. Yummy.
So we're pretty good with where the interior is at. Now we need to get the car into the shop. And rather than doing a 900-point turn, I have these really awesome wheel dollies that we can just slide under the tire, pump it up, and roll the car right on in. Once we get it in and up in the air, we can evaluate what we need to do next. Holy smokes. Oh. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Keep going. She may still be crusty and completely torn apart, but at least we got it in the shop.
I will say, my first impression is this thing really doesn't look that bad under here.
No, it really doesn't.
It's kind of shocking, actually. It's like really not that much mud or stuff caked in anything. It's really not bad at all. If you look at the prop shaft, it's spun a little bit, but you can see the water line actually on the prop shaft. Now what that means is really awesome news because the water line wouldn't have exceeded the top of the prop shaft, which means the vents on the rear differential haven't been flooded with all that muddy water, which we were really worried about, all that muck getting inside the differential.
Yeah, so it's not that like the water is gonna seep through the gaskets or anything, or the seals in something like the diff or the transmission, but those components have vents on the top side because as the fluid gets hot, it expands, you need room for expansion and contraction. So the only thing I'm moderately concerned about is gonna be the engine. So I think we should pull this belly pan off, take a look at the bottom side, lower the car. We'll pull the air filter because if the air filter's soaked, might be bad news. Probably drain the oil and see what that looks like.
What we're looking for is to see if there's water in the oil. That's really only our major concern because if it has water and it mixes, it could thin out and ruin the engine.
Yeah, so there's no water in it, which is good. I don't know when the last time the oil was serviced, but the good thing is we didn't get a gallon of water come out before the oil started coming out.
Yeah, that's the major concern.
That's mostly what we were worried about. This TTRS has a 2.5 liter turbo, very similar to the Daza engines of the newer TTRS and RS3. So it's pretty powerful, not quite as much as the newer ones, but great engine nonetheless. So Paul's just about got the air filter out. He's gonna finish taking that out and checking it. We're also gonna pull one of the spark plugs and just make sure that we don't have a cylinder or 5 full of water. The 2 minutes that it's gonna take to test this and check it, I think it's gonna be worth it. Here's a tech tip. Never, ever put an auto light spark plug in your Volkswagen or Audi unless you know that you're supposed to do that because you have some crazy car that you replace spark plugs every day, because they will not work well in your VW and
They'll
Audi.
cause misfires.
In my experience, they call them auto light for a reason.
We're looking for water inside this box, and so when we look in the air box, no mud, no dirt, no silt, no nothing, so that means we did not get water in here and we're good. The other component that we have with this is all the boost pipes and intake pipes of this car are gonna be airtight. That's how they seal for boost, so no reason why there should be water in any of those things.
Oh, I think we're good. We are dry. Let's see what happens.
Let's see if we can put some electricity to it.
Oh yeah, we should probably put a battery in it.
Yeah. I got no power. I got no cluster right now. Well, should we let this car dry out first?
Let's try the old whack the starter trick. Go ahead.
Hey! Well, it turned off immediately, but...
Okay, but it turned on.
It turned on. Ready?
Let's do this. Let's bring the car down, let it roll forward so we can open the doors, check those fuses, and scan the car. My guess is the cluster not coming on is the problem. So it's like, nope. In my hand, I have an instrument cluster, which I'm not super happy to have in my hand. We got the car started technically, but then it shut right off as if we had an immobilizer problem. The other thing we found is that the instrument cluster doesn't light up. We're just gonna check powers and grounds and make sure we didn't inadvertently take a ground off or something like that, and hope that we don't have to replace the cluster, because that's no fun. So we have spent many, many hours cleaning and demudding and cleaning. You can see we got these parts here, the carpet. Our goal is going to actually be to replace the padding. So when Paul gets back to his shop, he's gonna look up some padding. We also have the issue with the instrument cluster. So I gotta call into Clusters by Litkey to see if that's something he can handle. So for now, we're gonna keep cleaning. We're actually gonna push the TT right there while we wait for some of those things that I just mentioned. Okay, flash forward 4 months later, Paul is back, our TTRS is here. It has spent plenty of time drying out on the inside. We had fans going, we had dehumidifiers going, and that's about the extent of the work that we've done.
When last you saw us, the car did not start because we got it pretty wet inside when we were cleaning it. So today,
So wet.
we're gonna try to see if it starts now.
All right, here we go. What do you think, is it gonna start? I got a lot more beeping in the cluster, which is good.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we won't have to do a bunch of like wiring repair for corroded wiring internally. Hey.
I would call that a W.
So amazing news, the car actually runs and drives. We are now getting this car in. We had to get some cars moved around because Charles loves piling up projects and never getting rid of them. We took this car apart a long time ago, and so now we have the task of putting it back together and hopefully remembering how everything went. The door sill, it's already like dirty, muddy.
While Paul complains about having to wipe the interior of this car, I am going to do two things. One, I'm going to install a brand new Optima battery, because this one is actually from another car. Several boomers got their wings. We still don't know a ton about this thing, right? We know it starts, which is awesome, and I'm gonna go through and try and plug in as many modules as I can.
I'm gonna need a vacuum, fam.
I got you, dog. Hold, please.
Oh, thanks. Oh, that's such a fancy vacuum you've got there. Hey, Milwaukee, I wish I had a Milwaukee vacuum.
Dramatic wink with sound effect. Oh, Paul. Ugh. These are heavy, by the way. Fun fact, that battery's really heavy. There's a lot of intermittent faults. Like, I'm halfway through. And then what I think I'm gonna do is I think I'm just gonna clear the faults.
When you have a car that's broken, you just erase the faults and that means it's fixed. And once you erase the faults, they're gone. Problem's gone too.
I wanted to scan and make sure we didn't have like no comm with some super vital module. We can talk to everybody, we have faults, but look, the whole car's still taken apart. So I'm gonna grab some of those wipes and help Paul clean this interior out. We don't wanna get all this back together and have some kind of crusty smell other than... While Paul and I finish cleaning out all the dirt and grime out of the TT and start to get everything ready to go back together, take a look at some of our freshy new parts. Top to bottom, we cleaned all the interior trim and we got some fresh new TT seats to make sure this thing looks absolutely awesome when we're done. There's so much wire, look at this. Look, it's like 100 miles.
I'm stealing body plugs is what's happening. So I'm stealing body plugs to try to put them in places where we have to cover up the body plugs. And then what the hope is that I'll order body plugs that can later be placed into the holes that I stole them from. I didn't take apart that side, but also...
Paul's also, out here trying to get me. Look at this.
I'm just saying I don't know.
Look at this. Look at what he's trying to do to me. What did I do? Trying to sabotage.
That wasn't me.
See this?
That wasn't me.
Stuffed it down there.
He's blaming me for things.
I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna cost him one of his high value trim tools.
I probably got that for him.
We're gonna put this brand new, fresh from the factory, last one in the country, right? Weren't these the last two in the country? For these Jukes?
Yeah, they were not plentiful, but
limited edition, stage 5.
You know, people aren't buying a whole lot of carpet jutes for Mark II Audi TTs.
Oh, look at that!
Yes.
Oh,
it looks like a brand new used Audi TT.
Remember, it was just brown, straight up brown when we first started, and to see this carpet in here, looking nice, smelling good, new padding underneath, Paul struggling. Oh, what more could a boy want? I don't know. Nothing. My life is complete.
It's nice, clean. It looks nice. But there you have a TT driving again.
But like, what blows my mind though is the carpet was brown.
Yeah,
like
it cleaned up really good.
It was brown, and the fact that it looks really good, I'm feeling a lot better about it than I kind of had anticipated.
We're pulling the car outside to do what we call a FrigiFresh service. Essentially, the HVAC box needs to be cleaned up to make sure that car doesn't smell inside.
Here is our refresher that we're gonna run in the car. Basically what you do is you just hammer this button right here and it disperses through the whole cabin. Ah, it's fogging.
15-minute timer.
All that mist and juicy, sweet
Chemicals.
yeah, all those toxic chemicals are gonna go through the whole car, go through the whole airbox, and then shoot out the vents. We'll let this run for 15 minutes, we'll air it out for a while, and then back to the shop.
I can taste it.
He should roll the windows. Oh, he can't roll the windows down because the door panel's not on. It wasn't that bad until it closed and then opened the doors again, and it
Now it's just pungent.
really hit me.
Check it out. We not only got the headliner, but the pillars Alcantara wrapped by our boy Stitchcraft, who did a fantastical job.
Look at that. Look at that. Even the
looks
back
so
part looks
nice.
really nice, like nicely.
I just picture what
Wrapped
it would look
around
like
the
if I
edges.
did
Oh,
this.
God.
It would be a disaster.
What it would be is
It'd be
glue
so ugly.
all over everything, and
Everything.
just handprints of stuff stuck to.
Yeah.
It'd be pieces of gloves ripped and stuck to the glue.
Probably would
maybe
be easier to go back through.
Probably
Literally
will.
any other
Yeah,
way.
any
than
way
this
would be
way.
better than this. Okay, okay, hold on. We're going out. We're going out. We're not going to do that. I'm facing heavy criticism.
Yeah. Paul's out here tearing everything up.
Here's the thing. I'll accept things are my fault if when I sketchily manhandle something in a way, but this is not one of those circumstances. I was pushing this into the visor clip and it just snapped right off. That one I won't take responsibility because that was not my fault. I'm gonna try to break nothing else so far.
You may remember the obnoxiously disgusting condition the seats were in, and the big problem with that is the leather gets hard, you're never gonna get the mold out of the padding. So these are replacement seats. They are not TTRS seats, they are just TT seats, but I actually think they're basically the same. We wanna put a couple of miles on the car and just give it like a loose shakedown, be sure we don't have any real problems. A little bit more of a test drive. All right, here we go, maiden voyage.
I'm excited.
Put your hands up, they're playing my song, Butterflies Fly Away. All right, well, the only light we have now is airbag.
It didn't slip just then, right?
It's so creaky. All right, well, I'm feeling a bit optimistic. How are you feeling?
I feel good. I think it seems solid.
Obviously, we're not like on the highway or anything, but so I think the plan is we head back. I'd rather do the interior first so we're not slipping and sliding around.
Yeah, I'd rather do all the clean stuff while we're touching the clean interior stuff, and then worry about the rest afterwards.
While we're touching grass.
Yeah. Okay, so we took the car for a test drive. It drove pretty well, but we have some maintenance to do, and more importantly, we have to get all the gross stuff from this flooding cleaned out from underneath this entire car.
You may remember we actually drained the oil to make sure that there was no water in it. And luckily I had a filter. Oil and water will separate and they'll come out in different stages. Really the only reason I'm doing a filter is so we reboot the oil change to full freshness. I will top it up, but first we gotta get Paul off his booty and get the bottom side of this car clean. I legit got the second cheapest soap they had at the store because, I'm not a complete cheapo.
The rotors on this car, because it's flooded, they are rusty. They're probably gonna have a little bit of soot in the fins. The plan at this point is to drive it hard enough to kind of knock the rust off and kind of check the condition of the brakes, see how it stops, see where it's at. I'm not a detailer, but I am someone who can clean dirt out of wheels. Okay, now that we got the maintenance and cleaning underneath done, we are ready to finish up our interior.
Most important part, shift knob swap. This one's mine, I'm keeping it.
So the biggest problem we have is that we have all these clips over them, and I need to, see that one? See that one who looks like a 90-degree? Someone mushed it. And what happens is you have to like, boom, pop them in there. And someone didn't line it up and just, and then they and then the clip went like that. They Hadoukened it into a 90-degree clip. And I can try to bend it back, or we can try to find a replacement for it. Now these silver guys look like the right clippies. That's actually pretty helpful.
That second to the last one didn't sound so
No,
great.
it didn't sound.
The last one did sound good, but the one. Beat it, beat it, come on, beat it, beat it.
Beautiful trim panel. Look at that. Foam items. Beautiful trim panel.
That battery's pretty heavy, be careful.
Holy hell.
These are actually pieces that I had stashed away. I thought they were for that Blue Beetle, and they weren't. So they never got cleaned, so I'm gonna steam clean them, just try and get some funk off of them here. They're not too bad.
I've never not hated putting a backseat in. I'm sure this one will not be any exception, because they're always a pain. Something's about to go wrong, I'm certain of it. Never mind. First time I've not hated putting a backseat in. I thought in the third quarter we were almost down, and then we really pulled it out.
All right, that was exactly the amount of work that I expected this to be. Taking parts off, putting them back on to try and make sure we got the order right. Our detailer's gonna come do another clean of the interior, which it's already pretty clean, but just the major thing though is they're gonna try and save this film to make it look awesome and bright and shiny and purple and sparkly. Then we're gonna drive it. Then all that's left to do is take it to Wookiees. Wow, what a transformation this thing has made. If you would have shown me those pictures from when I picked it up and said, do you think you could save this? I probably would have said no. Now, I can feel comfortable speaking for not only myself, but for Paul for this next part. It was an absolute honor to be able to do this project, not only to get an awesome car back to awesome, but to do right by our friend Grant. And the best part is this car will continue to be a vital part of our community.